Bloody Sunday, the fight for voting rights. By 1965, Black Americans had won the right to vote. But that didn't mean they could actually cast their ballots. In many communities, Black people were stopped from voting. They were not allowed to register. Sometimes they were threatened with violence. Why? Because when you vote, you have the power to change laws in your community, and white people didn't want Black people to have that kind of power. To protest this unfairness, civil rights leaders announced a peaceful 50-mile march from Selma to the Alabama state capitol in Montgomery. They planned to ask Alabama Governor George Wallace to protect their voting rights. On March 7, 1965, about 600 people showed up for the march. But Wallace wanted to stop this peaceful protest. The marchers walked 6 blocks before they came to the Edmund Pettus Bridge. There, 200 police officers and state troopers were waiting for them. The police told the marchers to turn around and go home, even though the protesters weren't doing anything wrong or illegal. The marchers stood their ground, and the police charged at them. They hit the marchers with clubs and whips. They even beat people who tried to run away. The police also released tear gas, which burns people's eyes, throats, and lungs. In total, 50 people were injured. 17 were taken to the hospital. The violence was so terrible that March 7, 1965, became known as Bloody Sunday. Governor Wallace and the police had stopped the march, but they couldn't stop progress. The story of Bloody Sunday was reported in newspapers and on TV. People around the country were angry when they saw the footage. They were shocked that the police had attacked the peaceful protesters so violently. President Lyndon Johnson was also angry. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had scheduled another march in Selma.
And when we talk about marching by the thousands, we always prepare ourselves for the follow-up. If it is necessary, we are willing and must be willing to go to jail by the thousands in Alabama to get the right thing. For we know that the vote is the key to democratic government. You will look around and see that glad day when all of God's children will be able to cry out, "Free at last, free at last! Thank God Almighty, we are free at last!"
President Johnson didn't want more violence, so he sent soldiers to protect the marchers from the police. As a result, Dr. King and his fellow protesters made it to Montgomery without being attacked. Just 8 days after Bloody Sunday, President Johnson proposed a bill to protect the voting rights of every American. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 quickly became law.
95 years ago, our Constitution was amended to require that no American be denied the right to vote because of race or color.
By the end of the year, more than 250,000 Black Americans across the country had registered to vote. Bloody Sunday was a terrible day in American history. But in the end, it brought the nation one step closer to equality.